Alright guys, just doing a quick wee video. We're up, as you know if you watch my past videos there, went up to greet the arrival of His Royal Highness King Charles III. Now, that was brilliant crack. He drove past us. Now I didn't actually get to meet the man. I met him, I think I was 8 or 9 whenever I met him last. But he was still obviously the Prince of Wales then. But we ended up going into the Plough, Hillsborough. That's also in a past video. Great wee spot in Hillsborough. Get in there, guys, if you're visiting. But we ended up in there just for a couple of pints. A couple of pints of Guinness, the black stuff. And God's gold, as I call it. But yeah, and I bumped into a few old friends. One of my friends would have been friends with in school, you know. And then obviously, you know, we grow up, we get older, we do all our own things and stuff. Haven't spoken to him in a few years. Turns out he moved to Japan, which is pretty cool. He's a professional kickboxer. And also his brothers were there too, so I bumped into Kenny and Samuel as well. So that was pretty fun. But we're having a couple of drinks and stuff, and we ended up talking to this couple who were from Texas in America, Texas, USA, obviously Texas, USA, and Texas Tom, the home store. But we ended up talking to them. They were pretty cool. Like, he brought us all around. Like, he was a good guy. He actually owns this place in Las Vegas, Nevada, called Speedy Recovery. What it is, I thought it was brilliant. They should have the likes of that over here. All these dolly birds and their nice lingerie, and they're all qualified nurses, of course. But what it is you go out in the last the night before, get a wee bit blocked or blutered, and then the next morning when you're feeling a bit under the weather, hungover, you go to Speedy Recovery, and these nurses come and take care of you. Put a wee IV drip and all in, make sure you're hydrated, and make sure you get over your hangover and stuff. I thought that was fantastic. That's definitely a gap in the market over here in Northern Ireland. Could you imagine the queues outside the front? The only thing is, you'd have to cater for the women as well, and have men there. Nah, be a man only thing. That's quite sexist then, isn't it? But yeah, it was a good wee day. But we saw the King coming in, and we saw the Queen, Camilla, and obviously we're still in mourning for Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II. But yeah, the whole nation's all in the same shape, I think, you know. It's remembering how great our Queen was, how great our Queen is. Sorry, I'm not going to refer to her in the past tense because she'll always be here with us. She's always our Queen, forever our Queen. But no, it was a good wee day now. Obviously I had to go get the young lad from school and stuff, so I couldn't have too many pints, so I only had a couple, and I had to leave. Just as one of my other friends, Stevie, was coming up, Stephen, just as he arrived, I had to leave. I felt real bad, just in case he thought that I was leaving because he arrived. That wasn't the case at all. It was, I had to go home and get Thomas, my son, get him dinner, get him showered, get him organised for school the next day, get the homework done. Oh, never ends. But yeah, he's Tom's he's still enjoying boxing. So it's good to get him at something. But yeah, I was walking back in the day. Actually, I was on my way back just to do a wee bit of work. And I was walking down the front of my house, and I could smell this really, really powerful, really strong smell of gas. You know, heating gas or house gas, whatever the hell you want to call it. So I phoned Phoenix Gas. Obviously, I says, listen, there's a real strong smell of gas outside the front of my house. Right, I have a row, and right along the whole row, was absolutely humdinging of gas. So the guy came out anyway, and he hunted around, looked about, checked all the wee things. Checked all the outlets, the valves, and he says, no, there's no leak. And I says to him, well, what would cause the smell then? What would smell like gas? He says, everything smells like gas. And I thought, no, it doesn't. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yes, he then told me after he checked everything, he came to my door and he says, listen, Mr. Forbes, I can't find anything any leaks or anything. And I says, would it have been maybe my neighbour, maybe his gas tank for his barbecue was leaking or something? And he says, no. He says, not even mains gas. He says, mains gas is heavier than air, so it falls to the ground. And I thought to myself, really? So if your gas is leaking in your house, that falls to the ground, then how the hell are you meant to smell that? You come in lighting a match and blow the whole frigging street to Kingdom Come. I don't know, but there we go. But I just wondering what to do with the rest of the day. Probably just mourn our queen. And see how it goes. But it's been a couple of days from I put a wee video in. I just couldn't be annoyed, to tell you the truth. Well, no, the truth is I was like, didn't know what to wear, and I was going to go on in my pajamas, and I was like, no, that looks weird, sitting in your PJs, especially my pajamas. They're pink and yellow leopard print, for God's sake. But no, it's good to do a wee video every now and then. But no, if you're in Las Vegas, Nevada, give that guy a go. Give that guy's company a go. Sorry, if you're hungover and you're feeling a bit atrocious. Speedy recovery. Fantastic dude too. And obviously he brought up Donald Trump. Him being from Texas. And I'll DT boy. Donald Trump. Trump for president. Trump. When's the next president's election? 2024. Trump 2024. That'll be good. Go on, Donald. But I believe that if Donald Trump was still president, if he was president instead of that on waste of space Biden, there would be no war in Ukraine. I don't know that for sure, but I believe that there would not be a war. I believe that Putin would be well put in his place. Because let's face it, like Donald Trump is a scary figure, especially as a world leader. That's why I think the USA need Donald Trump back, need President Trump back in office, because I don't think Joe Biden, what is that about? Like, he can't even speak in public. I firmly believe there's people behind him pulling his strings, telling him what to say, telling him what to do. Whenever he's up doing his speeches and stuff, I think there's someone in his ear saying, right, Mr. Biden, fall asleep. And he falls asleep, standing up. He's a freaking lunatic. But I've never understood why the president of the USA, why there's no age, an age limit. Over a certain age you can't run for office. Now a lot of people say that about the UK, because we have a royal family, we have a monarch, and obviously King Charles has ascended to the throne at the age of 73. But it's a totally different set of circumstances. It's King Charles ascended to the throne, right? And he is someone in line succession, his son Prince William, and then he has a son Prince George, and then George will have his son or daughter whenever he's older. It could be another queen, could be another king. But we have it. We have it set. Once one leaves, another one comes in. Whereas the USA, if say for example, God forbid, something happened to one of the presidents of the USA, then they have to go through that whole election process and the government sitting with no one in office, no chief and commander. At least in the UK, one takes over when one goes. Do you know what I mean? But no, I reckon King Charles will do a good job. His mother, Queen Elizabeth II, she not shadowed, but she was very, very like King George V, her father. And I only know that from research, from history and stuff. King George taught her values. And obviously she's done the same with King Charles, which is good. The only thing I would worry about is King Charles becoming political, because the royal family cannot be political. That's not, because the government's changed, the royal family doesn't. But I do believe that the next monarch we will have, who will be exactly like Queen Elizabeth will be Prince William. As soon as he takes over as King William, and Catherine, the Duchess, our Queen, that will be a whole new United Kingdom. That dude is going to do some good things for this nation, the Commonwealth, and all the countries he'd be head of state of, and hopefully I live to see that. Now, Prince William's in his 40s. Well, he's 40. So 40. If I snuff it young, like, then I'll not see it. But my son will, Thomas will. That'll be good. Thomas will see King George, hopefully. Or hopefully I just don't die soon. You know. But no, it was a good few days now, greeting our king, and our queen consort. And I'm gonna tell you something. Now they were a wee bit away from me, the king and queen. But see, looking up on them, to where they were close enough that I could see. King George is very, very small. He's a very small man. And the queen consort's the same. But you know, I've heard very, very good things about the Queen and Consort. I've heard she's a lovely lady. She's kind-hearted, very soft-spoken, has time for anybody, which puts me in mind of Her Majesty the Queen. You know, Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth. So I think she has. I think the Queen and Consort has shadowed Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, and picked up on her mannerisms, her ways with people, just the way she is, her whole personality, which I think's good, because I know William has done that. William I think is very, very, very like his grandmother, but of course he's going to be a reigning monarch, so he was taken under the wing, you know. But it'll be interesting to see. Whole new United Kingdom. That's bloody hard to say. Whole new United Kingdom. Try saying that after a skinful, frig. But all fun, but that was just a wee quick video. I'm drinking my coffee here, so I'm going to let you go before this gets cold. And I'll see you in the next one. Farewell, my friends.